You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV for 16 and Pregnant. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's 16 and Pregnant After Show.
Hello, everybody. It is your host for 16 and Pregnant, Ed. I don't mean to be rude, but I am all alone, and what I'm trying to do, I'm going to do something brand new today. I'm going to log on to the chat. I'm doing that now.
All right. Well, while you're doing that, I'll step in and let everyone know we do appreciate. Yes, we appreciate the chat. That's a good call, Ed. I like that.
Right. I'm going to have the chat open.
I like that. 16 and Pregnant, big show right here on AfterBuzz where we cover it. You know, MTV airs it. We talk about it. Ed is in the studio. Real quick, Ed, I was going to let everybody know on iTunes, we like our iTunes fans so much. We want them to comment and rate our show.
Yes.
And who doesn't want to talk about 16 and Pregnant and this crazy girl, Briana? Back to you,
Wait a minute. I can tell you who does it. You. That's who you, Ronnie Jr. Media.
You're making me a believer.
Look, I appreciate that. I will believe it when you show it to me, when you prove to me that you made a change. Otherwise, I feel like a complete failure in converting you, but that's okay because it's all in good fun.
You know, I made attempts. I knew her name was Briana, and yeah, I know the story's gonna go something like she's a crazy girl. You know, she's probably in the Midwest, and she is 16, and she gets pregnant, and she has a crazy life. But you give me more, and we'll start commenting on iTunes.
Now there's a reason for you to watch it because actually you're wrong on all those points except for the pregnant part. But that's cool. See, so it's interesting.
Hey, and the big sell is last week you said the one guy got hit by a semi. I mean, does this happen on every other reality show? I don't know. This is crazy.
No. We didn't get hit by a semi. Nobody got hit by a semi this time, but they did last time. No, but this time, this is season 4, as everybody knows. This is episode 3, titled Briana, because that is our main character's name, our main reality pregnant girl's name. And Briana is, I believe she is 16 when she gets pregnant because despite the name of the show, they're not always all 16. Sometimes they're 15, 17, whatever. But 16 and pregnant, they're right around. So I believe she was 16 when she got pregnant. But she is actually from New York. And her mom moved her and and Briana's older daughter down to Orlando, Florida, where they live, where all of this, all the drama ensues for our 16 and Pregnant episode here. So by the time she is, pregnant and getting ready to have her baby, she's 17 and in Florida. She's already got a nice circle of friends, quite a few friends we see in the show. But her mom is a single mom raising these 2 daughters, really, for the most part, pretty much, already raised them, right? 17, she's almost 18. She's got an older sister who's obviously 18. So most of the stuff has been done, but very interesting thing happens here, Ronnie Jr. The 2 sisters in this episode get pregnant in the same month.
Oh, by the same guy. I heard about that.
No.
Is that just a rumor that AfterBuzz made up real
Yeah, that's a false rumor. No, but the 2 sisters get pregnant. The younger sister reveals that she's pregnant to the mom first. And actually, she reveals before the older sister knew she was pregnant. She was worried that she might be because she had missed. She was late, but she didn't know for sure. So then when the younger sister revealed to the mom that she was pregnant, the older sister, Brittany, watched how the mom really kind of didn't react well. It was really a big emotional reaction. She yelled. She was really, really affected by it. Everybody was really affected. And so Brittany, seeing this, actually decided to go because she was worried that she might be pregnant. She got a test. And then, I kid you not, this is how she described how she told her mom. There's a separate part, you guys, on MTV. If you go to MTV.com, you can see a lot of extra videos, which most of you may be aware of. But if not, you can go there and you can see the videos where Brittany was actually interviewed by herself by the 16 and pregnant cameras. And so in this, she explains how she told her mom that she was pregnant. And she hadn't decided what she was going to do. At the moment she told her boyfriend that she was pregnant, her boyfriend was actually very happy and supportive. And so she called to tell her mom, but she said she got in her car and she drove far away from her house, and she called her mom while she was actually driving far away because she was like just trying to keep on going away. And she told her mom that's the circumstance that she created, the environment she created to be able to tell her mom that she was pregnant, actually moving in the car away.
So okay. All right, Ed Bowling here. I feel like you're sort of drawing me in because I'm like one of these non-believers, of this show, 16 and pregnant, but I kind of get what you're saying. I'm thinking about it like this. If there's a friend of mine who's 30 years old, I think there's a lot of crazy, how do you handle it? There's again, what I'm saying, there's 30-year-old girls who can't even handle, the pregnancy issue, and they do silly things. And I'm not saying that's silly, but this girl's 16, 17. Do you know what? I'm kind of interested in her story now. You've drawn me in because of that.
Okay, good. I appreciate. So at this point, what we have the real fascinating thing, I guess, here is that if there weren't shows like 16 and Pregnant, then the majority of, I guess, American society would not get to see what a 16-year-old's experience is when she gets pregnant. Or in Brittany's case, because I didn't tell you yet, Ronnie, Brittany actually decided, with her mom's blessing, to go ahead and get an abortion. And she did have an abortion. So you have two sisters pregnant in the same month, both teens, and one decides to keep the baby, one decides to get an abortion. And they're living in the same household. So
I'd be interested to know what the chat room and the iTunes fans thought of abortion. It's definitely something that, people have different opinions on. I don't love it, but everyone does have their own certain circumstance. That's a hot button issue. So the fact that MTV is going there, right. I think it's good. Okay, you getting me there, Ed. Okay. Keep on going with the 16 and pregnant, fascination.
Good. So so let's move to the mom of Briana and Brittany. A really, really real mom. She is able to sit down. She does everything that these girls need a mom to do. She tells them when she sees them maybe going in the wrong direction, something that's not going to be beneficial, that's going to harm them. She will tell them straight out. But she is also able to listen to them, and they communicate to her. This mom is very real, but extremely supportive. She is easily one of the best moms we've seen. Not because we've seen, I think last week, and I forget which girl it was, but we talked about how great and supportive that mom was. But this mom, not only is she supportive and real, but she has a connection with her daughters, and they are able to communicate like nobody's business, and it is good. They joke, they laugh, both sides, which, some people think that maybe parents shouldn't say cuss words in front of their kids and kids shouldn't cuss in front of their mom. But you know what? They do a couple of times, and it's a little bit comical. But to me, it just shows how comfortable they are with each other. And it was really, really beautiful to see. So that's the first thing. We'll hear more about the mom, and I wish I remember her name, but I don't. So in the beginning, we get the same type of thing that happens with almost all the 16 and Pregnant initial episodes where they introduce the girl. Is you get this whole stage thing where obviously the MTV people direct them to they kind of prod them into, go ahead and talk about when you told your mom you were pregnant. Go ahead and talk about when you told your friends. Go ahead and talk about it with your friends. Talk about it. And so they obviously prompt them. But what was interesting about this episode was that the first really 30 minutes of the show, the first half of the show, was really dependent on all these women telling these stories. And the reason why, Ronnie, was because the guy in this particular episode, although he didn't get hit by a truck, he might as well have been, because he was non-existent, meaning the Briana still was in love with her baby daddy. They had been boyfriend and girlfriend, but they broke up like a month or two before the baby was going to be born. And he was not even responding to her text messages. He was just out of the picture. And so for the first half of the show, we didn't really have any sort of conflict. We had everybody just telling stories about what had been happening in the past. Wasn't really a lot of reality show activity going on. She talked about with her friend. Her friend was like saying, so, how did you get pregnant? Why did you get pregnant? How did it happen? And didn't you use protection? And she said, no, we may have used protection like a couple of times, but most of the time we didn't. And she said that she just didn't think anything would happen. It was a lesson to all of the young people that are out there, that if you take a chance like that, I mean, it's almost like exactly what I'm going to say, but the only thing that matters is if you decide to actually take a step. Briana said that she felt that it was uncomfortable to mention to her boyfriend before you have sex, oh, make sure you put a condom on. And as a result, she and he are having a baby. But she actually also then said, well, he should have done it, and he should have been the one to say and make sure that he brought it and put it on and stuff. And I agree that the responsibility is on both ends. So both of them should have done it.
I would love it for our AfterBuzz fans to start tweeting out some of these girls on the show, these shows, because I feel like I almost do want to hear more of their story. Sometimes in reality TV, we just get all the crap, the partying, this reality show, obviously, reality TVs went so far away from documenting people's lives, and made it more entertainment. But I feel like what you're telling me, Ed, like they actually have stories to tell. So I would love one of these girls to call us and kind of say how that play-by-play went, not only to be 16 and pregnant, but to be filmed and where their life's at now. I think it'd be great.
No, you're right. It actually, it did happen. We had Danielle, who was last season, actually, 16 and pregnant. We had Danielle call in. She was live on the phone with us. I interviewed her. I even talked to her about MTV money and when they get it and how much they get it. And she was not able to talk about that, right?
Okay.
She said we're not allowed to talk about it. But we did have that. And you're right. It was very good for her to actually call in and answer our questions and answer our viewers' questions. So, yeah, that would be great. That would be great. We're not always successful, but we always try to reach out to them.
Right.
And a lot of times they respond and they're willing to come on.
And I say our fans, our AfterBuzz fans, because you got to understand, Ed, like, sitting here doing all these shows, like our AfterBuzz fans, they do so much great work for us. It's just like my duty sometimes to say thank you guys for doing that. And I know you're on the chat. So, we're just kind of going off that. But what a story if these girls are going through all this and putting it on camera,
And no, exactly. So, it is real reality, because there's times when the camera's there and, you can tell when there's these MTV prompted moments, but then you get to the ones that it's not prompted. And that's where we see them next. We see Brittany and we see her mom and we see Briana, and is
Brittany the sister that did give up her child?
Right.
Okay.
And they'll be sitting around and they'll be talking, okay? And all of a sudden you will hear something come out of Brittany's mouth like, wow, it's gonna suck for you, Briana, because you're gonna be stuck home with the baby, and I'm gonna be out partying and driving and having fun with my friends.
Oh, get out of here! This is the girl that had the abortion. She's gonna talk like that to her sister,
right? She said it, but you have to understand, it doesn't take away from their bond. They just have this really real talk with each other, and so they're young girls, and so Brittany will have a moment of not. I don't think she actually realized that. To me, I would categorize what Brittany said as mean. Like insensitive, right? And I don't think she actually realized it. And you could see Briana was there and she was starting to, her face was getting sad and she was tearing up. But they're all tough. They're all tough. They're not weak, And it was the mom in one of the scenes where she saw that, her young pregnant daughter was crying, and she went to her and comforted her and said, "What's wrong, baby? How you feeling? Is it overwhelming?" and stuff like that. Now, one of the things that did happen was you had the mom was in the kitchen making some special dinner that Briana, the young pregnant one, had requested. Okay, she had requested some special like now I'm gonna say roast beef. It was like meatloaf or something. And Brittany comes in and begins to complain that her mom is making a special meal for her sister and says, look, she is pregnant. She's not handicapped. She's not disabled. She can make her own special meat dinner. And, and so she was complaining. And then at the same time, Briana had just come home with her ultrasound on a DVD, and she's in the living room with the DV queued up, paused, waiting for her sister and her mom. And at this point, she's only expecting her mom, but she can hear Brittany in there hating on her. And so she's like saying, Mom, are you coming? And Mom is like, okay, Brittany, you need to leave your sister alone and stop complaining. And Briana, you acting like a baby. I'm in here cooking your food. Wait till I'm put the stuff in the oven, and then I'll come see the thing. And then Brittany's upset, gets so upset about the thing that she actually leaves the house. Okay.
This is abortion girl. Picking on her sister.
Yes. And she.
Oh, the message boards must be eating her up.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, like I said, it's not the same as any of the other sisters and brothers that we've seen. It's like something about, I think it probably has to do with part of where they came from, where they come from New York, where they are just a little bit rougher and edgier than the rest of us. And so
the rest of us meaning
anybody not in New York.
Oh, I love the New York people. I really do. So I'm a SoCal kid that loves the New Yorkers, and they do have that mentality.
They're just a little bit more brash than the rest of us. And it's almost like they bond over that. But at the same time, you've got this pregnant girl who's sitting there and she's crying and she's sad. And she's sad because of her situation. She's also sad because of her sister situation. And there's tension. She talks about it later in the show. She says, you know what? I can't even be myself around my sister because since she had an abortion and she sees me pregnant, she feels all that stuff. She feels like, did she do the right thing? She's jealous that I'm going to have a baby. Just all of that. So it's a really interesting dynamic in this particular family. And it is amazing to see how that mom just hangs in there, man. And she just she's the glue that holds everything together, raising these really strong daughters. They are young. They're immature in a lot of ways, and they show it. And you see it when you hear what they say and you see what their choices are. But I don't really fault them for that because that's their age. It's age appropriate. But the amazing thing that you get to see here is you get to see, any young person out there watching this TV show. And by the way, Ronnie, there's always been a big debate as to whether 16 and Pregnant glorifies being 16 and pregnant because of the TV show. Whether MTV is should be it should be to blame for glorifying it, or if it's actually sort of a public service announcement, constructive type thing.
That's so funny. Like when you and I talk about how I don't love the show like you do, but you certainly put up a good argument, so it sounds interesting. I think I was one of those people who felt initially that it did glorify. I mean, I forgive me if this is the wrong show. It's along the same lines though. That Amber Portwood, I felt like I always heard about her, heard, and her life went into more of almost like a Real Housewives type of fan. You'd hear about her on E! Or whatever. So I was a little worried at some point that these girls would use that glorification to their entertainment value and make a career out of it. That did worry me, but this doesn't sound like that.
Right. Well, Amber was originally a 16 and Pregnant, and then she was on Teen Mom. Now, you may not know how it works, but 16 and Pregnant show, Teen Mom, all the Teen Mom shows are comprised of girls who were previously on 16 and Pregnant. However, not all of the 16 and Pregnant girls get to be on the Teen Mom show. It's just a select few. So Amber was one of them. Now, that in itself, the movement from 16 and Pregnant to Teen Mom, there's a little bit of justification there, I think, for someone to think, well, MTV, you're glorifying negativity, meaning, you know what, the say boring girls that get everything together and don't have any drama in their life after being 16 and pregnant, they don't get a Teen Mom spot. It's the ones whose life is like hectic and full of chaos and failure and criminality and all this stuff. They get the spot. The Amber Portwoods get a Teen Mom show. And by the way, everybody's getting paid. Every 16 and pregnant girl is getting paid. Every Teen Mom show, members getting paid. So it's like I said, there's a debate out there. I personally, when I watch episodes like this, I definitely see the benefit. I see the public service announcement portion. I see how young people who are out there, who are like Briana was, who think, I didn't think anything was going to happen if we didn't use a condom.
Well, sure, because they do show a lot of the consequences on this show.
Yes,
so,
you get to
there.
see it, and it's real people. It's really this one was like I said, different than all the other ones. It was good. So, one of the things you see immaturity wise, and this is like maybe more life experience. And when I say immaturity, I'm not saying it's not a slight against Briana, or Brittany. Like I said, it's age appropriate stuff that they're doing stuff for the first time. They're learning as they're going, like all of us did, and so so it's just there's some things that just they reveal their age. Like for example. And this could be taken either way, but when Devoin, who is the baby daddy's name, finally responded and agreed to meet Briana and talk. Okay, she was still pregnant. They were talking, and Briana really 99% of the conversation made no eye contact with this dude. And I thought, okay, well, it could be that she feels, sort of vulnerable to him or in a vulnerable state, and if she was looking at him, she would be reminded that she misses him and she wishes he was acting differently and stuff. So it could have been a conscious decision on her part. But whenever I see somebody who is not making eye contact with the person they're talking to, it's usually a young person. It's usually someone who hasn't matured into social arenas and knows how to deal with people, how to make eye contact and talk. And so it was actually, to me, it was very telling that she didn't. And it was also a result, to me, it's a result of her being overwhelmed with life. And you'll find that people who have so much going on, they're not going to engage you. They're not going to, it's a vulnerable giving thing to make eye contact with someone in communication. You have to be fully involved. But if you don't have anything to give emotionally, then you may be reluctant to do that. And from his side, though, he's sitting there looking at her. He hasn't been talking to her. He has been ignoring her communication. She's pregnant with his child. And he says, and she's like saying to him, hey, look, I can't go get a job. I'm pregnant. I'm getting ready to have this baby, but you can. Don't you want to provide for your daughter? Don't you want to give her things, diapers? I don't want my mom to have to be the one to pay everything. And right now she is the one that's going to have to pay for everything. And he said, well, yeah, I want to, but can I just be a dad without having a job? And she's like, no, you can get a job. That's how you can help. And he said, well, do you know how stressful this is? I'm being forced to get a job. And she said, well, I'm being forced to be a mom. Okay. Now, obviously, the situation they're in is a result of their own choices. But to me, the lack of life experience that is revealed in both of the things that they say. She is. What
was his excuse for not wanting a job?
He didn't do. This dude said 20 words the whole episode. Okay, and they were all negative. Honestly, I'm trying to think. Did he say anything nice? Maybe one or two things nice. But I read an article.
He asked her,
yeah,
are you sure it was mine?
I read an article, and well, no, he didn't. But no. I saw a little video clip, and I forget which. I think it was on AOLtv.com or AOL.com news, where basically all of the forums and all the chat rooms and everything is all blown up with saying that this is the worst baby daddy in the history of 16 and pregnant. I mean, he was just ridiculously absent from this thing. So,
well, here's a question I have for you. The only thing I could give I didn't see the episode, so, as far as a defense for him, these girls do submit themselves to be on these shows. Maybe a casting director found them, but I'm assuming there is a submission process. Maybe he just wasn't comfortable with putting himself on camera. Can we at least go with that's a possibility, or do you think he was just...
No. In this case, that is not what it is, because you can be absent from the camera and still do all the other stuff you're supposed to do. And we've seen that especially with parents of one of the kids that maybe don't want to be on the show. They will still be heavily involved, and you'll hear that the kids talk about, yeah, my dad's paying for this, my mom's going to help do this, but maybe the cameras don't see him. So no. And when this guy is on the camera, it's not just uncomfortable. He's just a really, and I mean, I'm saying all this stuff about Devoin based on what I saw on the show, right? That he's selfish, and he just doesn't get it because his age does not allow him to get it. His maturity level doesn't allow him to get it. So I'll give you one example. He surprised everybody when she was going into labor. He showed up right away. Okay, and so everybody was surprised at that. So he stayed there till his daughter was born. Okay, then I don't remember what time of the night he was born, but then he went to go play basketball with his friends. Okay, so he made a decision to just leave the hospital and go play basketball when it was like the birth certificate hadn't even been signed yet. The baby's name hadn't been officially written down. Everything was still, the baby was born, but as soon as the baby came out, boom, he bounces to go play basketball.
Like he said, I'm leaving to go play basketball, or there was just a shot of him playing basketball?
They said, okay, look, Devoin, the Briana, she said, well, I had the baby and I was glad he was here, but, I still need him to be here for me right now. And he went to play basketball with his friends. It was just a few hours after the baby was born. Okay. So what happened was when the doctor or whoever brought the birth certificate around to fill it out, guess what Briana did? She decided, I'm not going to put his name on here. He's not here and he hasn't been here. Baby doesn't get his name. Daddy's name ain't even going on the birth certificate. So they eliminated him from that.
So the last name was Brianna's last name?
Yes.
What was the first name of the baby? Do they say that?
Yes. First name of the baby is a name that I actually really like. Some people don't like it.
Is it Isaiah?
No. It's a girl, baby girl, and her name is Nova.
I just knew it was going to be a name like Isaiah or Nova.
Well, that was one of the, when they talking about the names, that was one of the comedic portions of the show, which I will do. I will finish that up and I will say a couple of other comments after we go to commercial. I think you are ready to take us there. Go right ahead.
AfterBuzz TV. Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
Are we back? Are we back? We back?
That's it. You're back. You're back talking about Brianna, 16 and pregnant style.
So the because I gave a little teaser before the commercial. So the comedic, one of the comedic portions of the show was when they were talking about what to name the baby, and it was the baby. It was Brianna and her mom discussing. They were basically having the discussion to decide the baby's name. The baby daddy not involved. Why? Because he wasn't responding to anything. So. Try to think. She said there was a name right before Nova, but one of the names she said, oh, I like the name Bliss. Okay. And the mom said, nope, not that one. And Brianna said, why not? She said, because it sounds like a stripper's name. But that's how real the mom is. The mom will tell you, don't name your baby a stripper name. Name her something that,
I almost feel like Nova sounds more like, if you're going to go stripper name, Nova to me
well, wait a minute.
now,
not everybody is an expert on stripper names like you, Ronnie. You have to give these people a chance now.
I'm definitely not. I'm just saying. Like,
I don't know. You sounded like you were talking from experience
but listen, Bliss,
authoritatively.
Well, good thing, because Bliss doesn't sound good either way. Nova sounds good. What's the last name of the child?
Well, I Nova Star is the, I think Star is the middle name, which now you're getting a little bit corny. I wouldn't have done that. But I'm actually not sure of the last name. I actually don't know if Star is the last name, but the baby's Nova Star. So baby's either Nova Star or something. And I think it's Nova Star or something, but you don't always, matter of fact, I don't think I've ever seen a 16 and pregnant where they reveal the last name of the families on the show.
Well, yeah, that's actually good. That was
You always find out right through Twitter and Facebook and stuff. It always comes out, but you don't. I don't. It's not something that's commonly released. On the show.
Does MTV do like a follow up? I feel like maybe not even a follow up after this season, but there's so many specials MTV runs. I feel like this would have a really because 16 and Pregnant's been on for a couple seasons now. I'd love to see the girls that are now 20.
Right.
And with the 4-year-old.
Right.
I don't need a whole reality show called 20 and a 4-year-old, but
well,
20 and a 4-year-old with 24-hour cameras on you.
And
I don't need that. But
maybe I don't know if maybe you have some sort of psychic ability here, but it's funny that you say that.
Is it news time or
no? Well, no. Well, let me see. Is it news time? No. It's not news time because I don't have any news on these girls. I don't have any news on these girls.
All right.
But I will say it's funny that you say that because there is a Where Are They Now sort of episode on MTV.com right now. You can go watch that. I want to say it's about an hour long, but it goes back and it touches on, I think, about 8 of the 16 and pregnant girls over the past 3 seasons. And it tells you where they are now.
I like that.
Yes, it's very, very interesting. One of them, interesting, and I'm surprised she didn't get a Teen Mom spot because this is drama for real. I don't think she got a Teen Mom spot. No, I think she's got 16 and pregnant. Kiana, she is now 17, I think, and her baby daddy was 18 or 19, and he was trying to provide for them and was doing it by way of stealing. He was a fence. He was stealing stuff and selling it, or getting stolen goods and selling it. He got caught, arrested. He's in jail until she is 33. He's in jail for like about 15 years. So that was a major update that, we didn't know about. I don't know if that was in the news, but, that's an example. So, yeah, there's a lot of things to talk about for the girls and where they are now.
And where are these 4 or 5-year-old children, trying to function in normal life,
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure they're fine, but still.
Exactly. I think what I'll do is I'll finish up my summary of this episode, Ronnie, and then we'll do maybe straight to predictions.
Sounds good.
And then wrap up. So then after the baby is born, then of course we get what we always get, and that's what it's like when they get to take the baby home. And our 16 and pregnant girl, Briana, she just goes right into being a mom, and she is overwhelmed almost immediately. One of the first times she goes to breastfeed the baby, it's difficult. And it created an interesting scene. You had the baby crying, wah, wah, for mama, and then she was unable to comfort her newborn, and so then Brianna tilted her head back and said, "Mom!" And you had 2 babies both crying for their mama at the same time. One of them was older than the other one. It was an interesting scene. Let's see. Oh, and then we have the fact that the daddy wasn't put on the birth certificate. Okay, now here's an example of something that I don't know how the MTV cameras missed this, because this would have been one of the most dramatic, interesting things to see. But he comes back from playing basketball and finds out that his name wasn't put on the birth certificate and the baby's not going to have his last name, Ronnie. And he basically got angry, threw a fit in the hospital, yelling at everybody.
I thought he had no emotion.
No. That's the thing. I don't know why they didn't show this. We didn't see this. This was described to us by Briana, and MTV did a little stick figure cartoon animating it while she was describing it, but we didn't get to see it at all. So he apparently was yelling and cussing at everybody, and the mom, the grandma, the sister, and stormed out, and then proceeded to not talk to them for, I think, a month. Okay, so he didn't see his newborn daughter for a month.
Ooh, I definitely want to go on his Twitter and find out what he wrote about today's episode.
Good,
because he has his side of the story.
If we can find that, would be good news right there. So, and his name is Devoin, and it's spelled Devoin. That's how they spelled it on the TV. So he finally did contact Briana, and he comes to visit, but it doesn't go well. He comes with his friend, okay, and he sits down. He sits down next to Briana and the baby. The friend sits down next to the mom, and they have their little time where he's like, he did hold the baby a little bit, but then he was like, I'm not going to try to burp her or try to feed her or nothing. And Brittany, the sister, is sitting there yelling at him because he's on his BlackBerry texting and doing stuff, sitting there next to his newborn child, and he's not interested in trying to learn how to feed her or burp her or anything. And so Brittany calls him out on it and says, look, man, why don't you, this is your baby girl, why aren't you doing something? Why are you on the phone? I can't believe it. And then the mom tries to say, okay, guys, look, how are we going to work this out? Because Devoin, your daughter needs you. And, you know, I just want to be able to help you, get to see her, and let's work this out for her sake. And while she's talking to him, he picks up his phone and starts texting and doing stuff. And she says, man, what are you doing? Don't you think that's rude? He said, no, I'm listening to you. And so basically it seemed like the visit was super short. I don't know how many minutes it was, but it seemed like it was super short because after the mom is telling him that he's rude for being on the phone when she's trying to help, he gets up, looks at his friend, puts his jacket on and says, hey man, you ready? And he says, yeah, I'm ready. And then they bounce out. Okay. And he's just not helping at all. He's just not helping at all. But that mom, in the end, we see a bunch more examples, but one was really cool where she went with her daughter, because the one thing I didn't tell you yet about this girl, Ronnie, and that's also should be applauded, Briana at 17 years old is already graduated from high school. She actually went ahead a grade. She is such a strong performer. She graduated high school a year early. Okay. And so she's very different from a lot of the 16 and pregnant girls who maybe either don't graduate high school or they barely do, or they're already 17, 18 when they do. She's already done high school, planning on going to college. This baby put a monkey wrench in the plans. So her mom actually went with her and her baby to the college to talk to the college counselor, try to work out some sort of schedule. What can she do? How can she, be able to go to college while she's got the baby? And while they're there, baby's diaper needs to be changed. So they go into the college bathroom and there's no baby changing station. So Briana has to sit on the commode and then lay the baby down on her lap. And then the mom actually changes the diaper. And it was total teamwork. It would have been ridiculously difficult to try to do alone with no place to sit the baby down. And it was just another example. The mom was not overwhelmed, wasn't annoyed, wasn't exasperated like we've seen with so many moms and parents of these daughters. She's just, you know what? This is what it is. This is my daughter. This is my granddaughter. And they need me, and I'm going to be here for them. And she did a wonderful job. So with that, we can get that prediction music going.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, my predictions for Briana's situation. Briana, after watching, there's an after show interview with Briana on MTV.com, and she did some very, very refreshing communication. She did during the episode too. At the end of the episode and in the after show interview was pretty much this theme. She realized that, you know what she's dealing with, she doesn't regret her baby. She loves her daughter so much, but she realizes that her life would have been very different. She may realize it more than any of the other 16 and pregnant girls because her sister, who was pregnant and got an abortion, is right there next to her. And so this is a very interesting 16 and pregnant. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with these two sisters.
Remind me how close they are in age, the two of them?
You know what? I'm guessing.
Like very close.
Very close. I think within a year. It looks like
that is interesting because you have the one who owned the responsibility, and then you had the one who
made a different decision. And
wow,
and
there's your TV show.
Yeah, and in her defense, by the way, Brittany, the one who had the abortion, and I believe she's honest, said that part of her reason was that, you know what, Briana has already told mom that she's pregnant and she's going to keep her baby, okay? And at the time, her boyfriend was going to be supportive. This guy Devoin, and Brittany's boyfriend, a week after she told him pregnant, after he had been so happy, she broke up with him. I mean, he broke up with her, and so
but the mom knows everything, though, right?
The mom knows everything.
Well,
now.
Of course, it's on TV.
Yes. Yeah, the mom knows everything, but Brittany basically made her decision partly because she didn't want her mom to have to support, multiple grandchildren alone. So I'll leave you with the thing that Briana said that I think is so powerful. She said, never make permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. And that was probably one of the most wise things I've heard from any of the 16 and pregnant girls.
Say it again one more time.
Never make permanent decisions based on temporary emotions.
All right.
Pretty.
I like that for a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Dealing with all this.
17.
17.
Pretty wise. She did a lot. She said a lot of honest things. But with that, 16 and pregnant, episode 3 of season 4, Briana that's a wrap.
And of course, continue the conversation on our iTunes chat. Rate the show. Ed does a really good job talking about this show. So why don't you do us a favor and hit us back as well? We would appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.